Hi, this is Emily Beach, and today I'm going to show you how to make a cross-contour line drawing of a still life with 3 objects. In this video, I'm going to create a still life using 3 objects to create a cross-contour line drawing. So for this project, you're going to need any 3 objects of your choosing, your sketchbook, and a pencil. I really enjoy gardening, and I've chosen 3 items from my garden: an eggplant, a piece of okra, and a tomato. When you are choosing your 3 objects for your still life, I would suggest choosing objects that are a little bit easier to draw if you are a beginner drawer. Also, make sure that the objects are set up in a way where you will be able to see both your paper and the objects that you are drawing at the same time. Looking back and forth between the objects and the paper when they're close together is going to be easier than if the objects were far away or in a way where you would have to turn your head to look at them. The first step of the process for completing this still life is called blocking in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to block in the space where each of the objects are by just creating very basic shapes. And this is going to hold the place of the objects and help me to figure out the proportions. So I'm just a circle for my tomato, and I'm just going to kind of draw this oval shape for the okra, and then I'm just going to draw another oval for the eggplant. I'm just looking here. Just real basic shapes, and keep the sketch of this pretty light. This is just to get the basic proportions in. We're then going to go in and place our contour line drawings. Those are the outlines of each of the objects. Once you have the basic sketch or shape placeholder in, you can start to define those areas a little bit better. And so with this okra, I'm just going to really define that outside part of this. And when you start to put the contour lines in, you can start to get a little bit darker with those lines. And don't worry if these lines deviate outside of the basic lines that you put in when you first started to draw the objects. Now that I have my contour lines placed in the still life drawing, I'm now going to start to cover these with cross contour lines. If you think about the longitude and latitude lines on a globe and how they would curve left and right from center, that is essentially what we're going to be doing with each of these objects. So I'm going to start out with the first object, which is my tomato, because that is round and that's going to be a little bit easier to do. I'm going to start to curve those lines kind of down towards the center points. Think about the way that if you were to wrap this with string, the direction that the string would curve around that form. I'm going to then think about the way that lines would wrap around that tomato in the other direction. So again, this is cross contour, so these are lines in both directions. They cross each other. Just thinking about how those would wrap around the stem. The next object that I'm going to create the cross contour lines on is the piece of ochre. Looking at my piece of ochre, there are some ridges on that, and I'm going to think about how those would kind of curve as we go around that piece of ochre. And now I'm going to start creating the cross contour lines on here. Thinking about how they would run or curve down that object. These ones are actually going down to a smaller common point at the bottom. And then lastly, I'll put the cross contour lines on my eggplant. So I'm going to go ahead and start in that center point. These lines are going to curve to the left and right of center, or top and bottom of center, depending on the direction of the object. I'm going to think about where the center of that object is and how much it curves. And then thinking about these individual leaves and how they also curve at the end of that eggplant. And there you have it, a cross contour still life with 3 objects. If you liked this video and you would like to see more, make sure that you subscribe, and thank you for watching.